Now let's take you to the United States, and the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump returns to the Pennsylvanian city of Butler today, where he was injured in an assassination attempt at a rally in July. Well, our correspondent Gary O'Donoghue was there at the time of that attack, and he's returned to the key swing state to speak to people who were affected that day. They include the widow of a former volunteer firefighter who was killed by a bullet meant for Mr. Trump.
It's a moment that will go down in history. A former president coming within inches of losing his life. There's frantic activity among the police
book bag next to him. Give me a
as they look for other possible gunmen.
This building, he was on top of this building.
Meanwhile, those closest to the stage are watching Donald Trump on the floor. This video taken just moments later. While Donald Trump survived, Corey Comparator did not. The former volunteer fire chief losing his life as he protected his wife and daughters. His widow Helen told me how they'd been childhood sweethearts.
The day before he was killed, my youngest daughter pulled out his senior photo that he had given to me, and on the back he had written that I was his best, thanked me for being his best friend. And he actually teared up and looked at me and said, "Thank you for being my best friend." So it was just kind of weird that we had that moment, you know, the day before.
Throughout the rally, Corey had joked how he believed the former president would get him up on stage. Less than a week later, Corey's jacket was displayed on stage as Donald Trump accepted the Republican nomination.
I just cried because, you know, I said he got his moment on stage with Trump. So, you know, it was kind of like a nice moment, but it was a sad moment at the same time.
Two people with an exceptional view that day were a mother and son. 11-year-old Gino dressed as the former president, just feet from the stage.
I felt everything. I felt sad, scared, mad that someone would do this.
The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, "Hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle." And the police were like, "Huh, what?" You know, like they didn't know what was going on.
Just outside the rally, me and my team were talking to Trump supporters about what they'd seen, when one man told us an extraordinary story. His words would reverberate around the world. 3 months later, he has no regrets.
I feel proud of it. Everything that I told you that night has proven out to be true from everything that's come out since then.
There's still no clear answer to the question why Thomas Crooks attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. But we do now have a much clearer idea about the series of security blunders that allowed him to do so. He was able to fly a drone over the site undetected. Police saw him using a rangefinder to judge the distance to the stage. Yet still he was able to climb onto a roof and fire 8 shots. Moments after that, Crooks was dead. A single shot to the head from a Secret Service sniper. Multiple inquiries are trying to establish who was to blame, with much of the focus now on the actions of the Secret Service.
If you're the Secret Service, if you're Homeland Security, if you're the most elite of the elite, how could you have failed in almost every single thing that needed to be covered?
Do you feel angry about losing him?
Yeah, very. I'm angry because there were a lot of mistakes made that day. And it didn't have to happen. Didn't have to happen.
There are mixed feelings about Donald Trump's return to Butler, some parents deciding to keep their children away. But in this staunchly pro-Trump county, many believe they owe it to the former president to welcome him back. Gary O'Donoghue, BBC News, Butler, Pennsylvania.